welcome back to the Wellness Check. Today's conversation is on self-confidence. Why don't we have it? Where did it go? How do we get it back? And specifically, I ran across this verse in a book, a sentence in a book that one of my clients shared with me when we were talking about self-confidence. And I fell in love with this phrase so much that I wanted to do a video on it and have it out there for people to hold on to, especially when we're talking about things with self-confidence. And if you've ever had a challenge with self-confidence, feeling pretty secure in social situations, right, if that's a challenge, then you know what it feels like inside your body and brain. It is not comfortable. People that have issues or struggles with self-confidence typically tend to be very inside their body and their brain, very worried, consumed with what other people think about them, fear of other people's criticism or judgment, whether said aloud or just a silent judgment. There's a lot of scrutiny that goes on this microscopic level of, am I speaking well? Am I using the right tone of voice? What's my body language look like? Do I look fat in these jeans? I can't believe I said that silly joke. I don't deserve to be here. Why am I here? Get me out of here. There's this constant circulation of insecure thoughts when we have low self-confidence in these situations, especially social situations. But we can have them interpersonally as well, too. We don't have to be in a crowd of people in order to have issues with self-confidence. So because we are so inside of ourselves, right? How do I look? How am I speaking? How am I coming across? Please, I hope nobody is noticing XYZ about me. I would just die if someone thought the way I think about myself, right? It's just consuming what you're thinking about yourself. And when it comes to self-confidence, it's actually really important to learn how to be secure in your abilities, your personality, your tone of voice, your body language, your eye contact, all of these things, even if there are embarrassing qualities about you. Having self-confidence does not mean that you have it all together. It does not mean you are the most beautiful person in the room. It does not mean you are the most intellectual person in the room. It doesn't mean that you are just, have it all together. That is not what makes a person self-confident. It's the ability to really know yourself inside and out, all the good, all the bad, all the ugly, which we all have. We all have the good, bad, and ugly. To accept it, to love it unconditionally, to say, this is who I am. I can work on the things I don't like about myself and still love myself and still regard myself as important and valuable in this world. That's self-confidence. And I'll tell you, it's an energy. It is palpable. When you're around someone that has genuine self-confidence, it is not pompous, it is not conceited, it is not better than. In fact, it just feels, what's the word? You just want to be around it. It's attractive, right? When someone is self-confident. They're not the smartest ones in the room. They're not the most beautiful ones in the room. They're usually not. And that's what we like about them, is that they are real. They're not consumed with that kind of stuff. They love themselves for who they are. You can feel it. And I know that you've been around someone with that energy, and it's a beautiful thing. So I wanted to share with you this quote. I'm going to put it up on the video, but I need to pull it up. And it goes like this. When it comes to self-confidence, it's not thinking more of myself or thinking less of myself. It is thinking of myself less. Let that sink in for a minute. I just talked to you about people who have issues with self-confidence are in their brains thinking about themselves. It creates an issue where we're not present, we're not engaged with what's going on around us, with the conversation, with the people, with the environment. Also, what we see with self-confidence issues tends to be we dissociate. We can't think of ourselves at all. I have to get out of my mind and out of my body in order to experience this social gathering, this social event. Don't anybody talk about me. Please don't ask me questions about myself. Hide. Wallflower, right? It's one or the other. It's this extreme. And this is where we see someone who lacks self-confidence. And again, we know why. There's these interpersonal struggles that they're going through. But what if we think about it like this? How do we know if we're getting better with our self-confidence? How do we know if we're practicing it the right way or doing it right? It's not to think of yourself too much. It's not to think of yourself at all. What is it? To think of yourself less. It's not to put yourself down and say, I'm not worthy of this. There's no way these people really want me to be here. I saw that look. I saw how she looked at me. She thinks I'm ridiculous. She hates me. That's thinking less of yourself. That's not what the goal is. We know we're doing it right when we can go and be ourselves in the world and not think about ourselves. To be able to plug into the world, to be able to do things of value in the community, in the world. That's self-confidence. And I just love that quote. And I'm so grateful that I get to learn from my clients every single day. This is a huge, for me. And it's a quote that I'm going to take with me everywhere I go. And as a learning example, as we're really cultivating ourselves and developing our self-worth and our self-confidence, it's an important thing to do. We have a light to shine. We're here for a reason. We have a purpose. And someone with self-confidence is assured in that. And they're spreading it like wildfire. They know what their purpose is. Doesn't mean they're perfect at it all the time. They make mistakes just like we do, everybody, It's to be able to go into the world, do things of value, make an impact, and not be consumed with thinking of yourself. Isn't that such a beautiful way of thinking about how self-confidence works? It's a very good measure, if you will. So next time you're in a big social event, take inventory. Do a little quick check with yourself, with how your body feels about going to this event, with what your mind is telling you about yourself in this event. And remember the goal. It's not to think too much about yourself. It's not to think little of yourself. It's to think of yourself less. What a beautiful lesson that is. A good reminder for us all. Short little video today. I just wanted to share that beauty with you, and I hope you take it into your day and share it with others. And as always, thank you for checking in with your wellness. I'll see you soon.